Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about Gnostic spirituality. Um, it's been a long time since I made a video. That's because I had a longer period of spiritual fighting, more intense, and some events. And basically, God said that it was not beneficial for me to speak up. And I already said there are lots of work of darkness being done on my videos, and there are specific times in which God says you need to speak now because you. It's either beneficial to me or to a circumstance, an event, or a person. But there are also times when God says you cannot speak now because too much of a strong work of darkness was done on your video, on your voice, on something, uh, ritual, voodoo, whatever. And this is not good for you. Or at this time, you encounter a spiritual fighting, which does not allow you to waste your energy with this pulling and thing that is happening through your videos. So when a longer time goes by and I don't make videos, you must understand that it is not my choice. It is always divinely guided, and it has certainly a divine purpose to delay the video. However, as I always told you, I do spiritual fighting and my work with God constantly, and you find information that I discovered in my work. You find it in real time in Akashic Records in the file which I created on my name with notes from my work with God. Those are in Akashic Records. It's not my file about myself, it's the file with information I discovered in my work with God, either in spiritual fighting or even in healing. Many times I write their information about healing, which I go through because I imagine that it can be useful to others as well. Yeah. Um, the divine realm is responsible for, and Jesus in particular, and God, um, to whom they allow access to that, and when and how much, to how much information and stuff like this. This is a deal I made with God to work this way, because not all the information I find it's possible to share at the time when I find it. Sometimes it's not beneficial to share it publicly until the situation is being solved. Or sometimes it's even more petty than that. It's simply that I don't have enough memory on my iPhone to make a video. And so for this reason, until I get to buy some memory, then I have to find a way to share that information. And this is the way I agreed with God to work. Okay, so the current video, it will be about necromancy particularly. I will compare it a little bit with resurrection, so you will have both light and dark information about this topic. I chose this topic. Actually, I asked God to make this video, the first one, because the last two videos I made were about your dead ones. And I said, I want closure on that topic. I don't want to go back and forth. And after you allow me to make this video so I can close up a little bit this topic, then we can enter into topics which are divinely guided for this time. Yeah. But I want to close this issue related to your dead ones uh, for the reason I said, because I want them to be one after the other, but also because personally to me this is a dear topic. I said this in another video, I think, that I found out through my spiritual fighting that I can help my ancestors, my especially the ones, all my ancestors, but especially the ones that I met throughout this lifetime, that are not with me now, and some of them were really, really dear to me. And I can help them through the bondage breaking I'm doing. basically. Because what happens, I think I said in the other video, I don't know, but if bondage remains on an individual after death, they have to reincarnate, and not only in this circumstance, but they have to reincarnate in order to come to break it. Yeah, but I succeeded for some, and actually for many of my ancestors, to break bondage in such a way so they don't have to come back. And I found this to be extremely rewarding and beautiful. And I said this to God initially, that I believe that if we do this, we must do it right. Namely, that it's not just one sequence, but it applies to everyone who carried this embodiment, or who carried this bondage before me. Um, and God agreed to this, and I am deeply, deeply grateful that I was able to do this for them, especially for the ones that were very dear to me. Um, Also because they encountered totally different times. They didn't come during general ascension like us. Like, for example, in Romania, there were communist regime for a very long time, more than 50 years. And they were not even able to talk about these issues like we speak about it. They didn't have internet, they didn't have all these resources, and they were not allowed to speak about these topics. Yeah, so many of them achieved tremendous things considering the circumstances they lived in. This is very important for all of you to take in consideration, that previous generations did not have the same resources and options like we do. Okay, so now what happens? What is necromancy? Necromancy is the working with. It's a form of dark arts, um, and it entails working with dead ones. What does it mean? Your dear one dies. You go bury the individual. Uh, for a long time, many of us who were uh, had strong faith and considered the church as being the leader in this field would go to church and to give, this akatist thing, whereby the priest calls their name in the altar in order to be forgiven and helped and stuff like this. All the religions have that. Then you do charity in their name at specific times. Each religion has different rituals and stuff, and you think you do good by doing this. But I learned about necromancy from God, and I was in disbelief. Namely, that what happens is that in church, actually, they summon the spirit of your dead one. You go there asking that they pray for them, but instead of that, they summon that spirit, and they use it in dark arts, which is necromancy in the case of dead ones, in order to, for various reasons. One reason is to attack you. It will keep you under continuous trauma bonding if they keep sending to you the spirit, or take the energy of your dead one through summoning their spirit. They will appear to you as being your dead one, but in fact it's somebody alive who is playing necromancy on you. It's not even because people say they sent me a dead spirit. No, it's not even that they send the dead spirit. They pull the dead spirit in them, and they use that spirit, depending on what information they find out. If that man was a righteous man, if it was a man with a lot of divine rights, if it was a very wealthy man, they sometimes use that spirit for them to gain material gains in name of that spirit. They literally appear to other people like they are that person. For example, you meet someone. If your dad dies, or grandfather or something, and you meet a man, and you say that he reminds you of them, and that you fell in love with them, um, it can easily be somebody who plays necromancy, summon the spirit of your dead one, carries that spirit within them. It happened in my case with one individual who was carrying the spirit of my uncle, because he knew that my uncle was extremely dear to me, and that this way I would, by feeling the energy of my uncle's spirit, I will connect to him, and I will be more open to him approaching me. So it's not, I'm not talking from imagination. It's just things that I discovered. And the first time that I asked, when I started the spiritual fighting, I asked a priest, and I said, "It is true that this is happening in church?" And he said, "Yes." So it's not that even some priests in church confirm it. If you talk to them, some monks will tell you. Those that do necromancy will not tell you. Yeah, but if you go to a righteous priest or a monk, they will tell you that this is being done by priests. This is why they move the cemeteries in the cities, and this is why the church for how do you say this, oversees the management of the cemeteries, and this is sort of like their coin of exchange with masonry. We help you do necromancy if you give us this and that and that. This is how church is so much supported, and this is how masonry is, and all these convents are so much supported by church, because they blackmail each other and they make deals with each other. And necromancy is one of the dark arts in which they work together. Yeah. Another way in which necromancy is being used is, for example, you will have political leaders who will summon spirits of national leaders and take in that spirit in order to be elected, to gain and benefit of the popularity of that political leader from hundreds of years ago. Like in Romania, for example, I know of political leaders who summoned Dracula, Vlad Țepeș, who was one of the rulers of Romania. Yeah. What they do, many times what they do in order for these spirits, this is in their belief that this is happening, but they imagine that for the spirits to help them, they sacrifice individuals. So they have periodic rituals in which they make sacrifice ritual on you. They sacrifice you as a human being to that spirit. How they sacrifice you, it depends on what is being requested by the spirit, what is being negotiated between the individual who summoned and the spirit. The spirit died because of a certain wound, certain, so each spirit feeds on different type of energy. Some spirits feed on soul level energy if they were higher ranking and high in spirituality when they died, and they were on soul level elevation. So they will sacrifice you for those. They will sacrifice for those who are on higher level of elevation. They will do, for example, a sacrifice which is being done on women at a very early age. They will assign you spiritual spouse. What does it mean? It means they assign that spirit to you as spouse. Hence, you more likely will not have a husband, or you will not have a true marriage, even if you succeed to get married, because the dead spirit is assigned in spiritual realm as your spiritual spouse. And because it's on soul level, then that keeps you, you have to be preserved pure to feed that type of energy. So no lower chakras energy being wasted, meaning no sexuality, no. So for this, for example, this is why the church seeks children, because they sacrifice them at very early age, boys and girls, for this type of spirits, which require soul level spirit energy. Yeah. Purity. that requires purity. Illuminati feed on that, for example. Yeah. There are other spirits who will require in exchange sexual energy, and then they will do a totally different rituals. God has shown to me rituals of gang rape, of group rape, from wars, um, of group of officers raping women, because this is the type of energy required by the spirit that was summoned. Yeah, so it depends. It's a wide variety. They do rituals. They can even sacrifice you in terms of promising your soul. This happened to me as well. uh, Promising your soul to the spirit, you know. So there, the bottom line is that um, the spirit of your dead one can be used. How is the spirit used? Um, when the individual dies, if it's how to put this, how to start this, I guess. So when the individual dies, what happens at death? The soul goes to God, first of all, in 5D, in divine realm. Nobody can touch the soul. The soul goes to God. However, if you did not integrate, you did not healing, your energy and bondage breaking means integrating your soul, spirit, and mind. Yeah. If you did not integrate upon your death, it means that the spirit is attached to your body, not to your soul, because the soul goes to God. Most times, you lost your soul long time ago when you are in this situation. So you lost your soul much earlier before death. There are situations in which it happens that you um, didn't lose the soul before, but the soul goes to God in this circumstance. If you lose the soul before you die, then a deterioration of your physical body comes, in which, of course, different type of physical pain comes from different organs. That pain, it's a trauma bonding between the spirit and the physical body, physical remains. This is why the church is using the remains of the body. This is why the cemetery. This is why God showed me clearly it is recommended that you incinerate your dead ones, so they don't get to do rituals on them in the cemeteries and hijack their spirit, summon their spirit to use them. Yeah. If you have, if the one who dies has different other type of trauma, not on organ level but on soul level, on mind level, all the trauma bonding keeps the spirit binded at the physical remains of the body. That means the spirit cannot integrate and go to God together with the soul, because it's binded to the physical body and to a lot of dark entities which are being involved in all this trauma bonding. Yeah. This is why the trauma bonding is being done, in order to steal your spirit while you're alive, even, and even more so after you die, because they use these spirits. They use these spirits. Yeah. This is the necromancy as a dark art. They use the spirits in order to do, because they don't really have the power. So then they sell the spirits as well. They sell contracts on the spirits to others who are interested. For example, most of political leaders who run campaigns will have negotiations on this, and they will need a certain number of spirits which are being summoned either for the defense of the individual, or for uh, how to say, to program the electorate to vote with them, to literally program them, and how to put this, hypnotize them, I would say, but the correct word is do levitation on them. God whispers to me, do levitation on them, to do glamour on them. Glamour means that a veil is put on your third eye, and I explained about glamour in another video, but then you don't see clearly, and you are literally like hypnotized, pretty much like you see in the circus spectacle. If you go with the children, you always will see an individual who is doing all this hypnosis type of stuff, and it's funny to everybody, but literally it's not that funny, because it's being used on all of us in 3D. This is how 3D exists, and this is how you don't see God, because of all of this darkness and all of this work which is being attached to you. Now, there are other ways in which they use spirits in necromancy. Namely, there are spirits from ancient times or from different times, which they lived a certain type of bondage. Yeah. And they will use necromancy to bind or swamp destiny between you and that spirit, to bind that spirit to you, or to swamp destiny. Yeah. With you. So you will live the life of that individual if it serves their interests. Yeah. And that means that, for example, if they want to kill you, they will bind to you a spirit from an individual who committed suicide, so they will kill yourself. It happened to me. They did this, and I was like, this is so stupid. To me, much of it is stupid, but this is why I will make legislation to forbid all of this. Because this is just it's just too much of a crazy world, and crazy people having too much power, simply because individuals are not aware about all of this happening, or those that are aware don't care, and they buy into it, and they just ask their share into the whole process, their share, their money, their house, their position, their status, their money, so they will keep their mouth shut. Yeah. So this is basically necromancy. Now, what does this necromancy means? It's the dark arts trying to literally copy God's act of resurrection. When I heard this, I was like so shocked. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I cannot believe it. Literally, this is what they do. So they figured if God does resurrection, they can do resurrection as well in their stupid mind. They say they can do resurrection as well. What does it mean? They take the dead spirit, put it in a human being, and they believe this is the same as God doing resurrection on you. Do you see how stupid they are? It's really shocking. But literally, it's not the same, of course. And I want to clarify this for the stupid idiots who keep saying and imagining themselves being gods, because they imagine themselves as being gods. They say, okay, if God does resurrection, then we can do resurrection on the dead people, on the dead spirits. We make sure we trauma bond everyone. We keep the spirits hostage in 3D. They already claim you as their dominion, and many of them, they will kill you to take your place, to take your spirit. I'm telling you, they are this crazy. They will say, I want to take place. There's a stupid woman who actually attempted to do this to me. She said, I want to be her, so I will kill her, me. I will kill her, and I will steal her spirit, and then everybody will see me like her, so everybody will view me like they view her. Are you fucking crazy, idiot? Nobody can, but this is what they believe. In any case, the resurrection God does, it's entirely different story. Yeah. The resurrection is a process of healing, the deepest process of healing possible. It can only be done by God. And it can entail a long range of healing, from soul healing, mind healing, spirit healing, energy body healing, physical body healing, internal organs healing. It is the most miraculous type of healing that can take place, I would compare it to the divine grace. But it's even more shocking because this is much more visible to you, much more, you feel it much more acute. I lived many situations in which I had physical wounds during spiritual fighting. So I literally got wounds, bleeding wounds on my body during spiritual fighting encounter. Um, and it just seemed like simply disappeared, like it was never there. At some point I took photos of some of the ones because I was, it was not like I didn't believe it happened because it happened to me, so I knew it happened. But I was like, nobody will believe me that there was a wound here. Nobody will believe me that there was a wound on this uh, skin. And it was, yeah. So it happens like instantly. And I suggest to everyone who is doing spiritual fighting that from time to time you do ask God, especially if you have to make a decision. You do ask God for complete resurrection in your prayer, because this will give you clarity of mind, this will give you a complete healing. And it's uh, even if it doesn't last, even if more darkness comes to attack you afterwards, it's still important that you get a time of breathing in terms of having high awareness at that particular time when you need it. Yeah. And it helps in many ways, not in just that way. It just helps because it's literally like um, God is present in your physical vessel, literally. So it is an amazing experience. But God heals a living individual from different type of wounds. This is the resurrection. Okay, you cannot fucking compare that with necromancy, where you keep spirits hostage and you use the spirits to your benefit, material advantage, and so on. But they are this stupid and this crazy in their mind that they really believe that they, if they do this, they are like God. First of all. Second of all, I've seen this woman who wanted to be me, and she kept standing and binding at me and swamping at me all sorts of dead spirits. God showed me in her courtyard, in the courtyard of the house where she lived, she had a whole cemetery. And she summoned in that cemetery all of my dead relatives. So she will use them against me and to have access at me, especially during sleep time. Yeah, so they do this. Yeah, this is part of the practices which I will ban through the legislation I will make, and I will make sure that it will be internationally applicable, and that there will be an international monitoring on ensuring that is enforced properly and that they are punished. God showed me, and I did write because I didn't have memory to make a video then. Um, that this keeps saying that she cannot do this, she's stupid, this is not being done. I don't fucking give a damn about what you believe, and I don't believe that they matter that much to me. I told God, I said, I don't care what they believe. Throughout my entire professional life, most of the projects that I worked, nobody believed in them. I had a boss who kept saying, I don't believe you can do this. I don't believe. And when I was done with the project, he was like, I did not believe until the last very second that you can actually do it. And I was like, yeah, then if I say I do something, I do it. Yeah. So the fact is, and you all need to understand this, the fact is that we live at a different time right now. Okay, the light moved, so I don't know how to move this now so you can see. Okay, let's do this. The We have much broader understanding of how energy works. This is a specific time of general ascension. The energy work has been acknowledged as a profession internationally, also as an academic field. There are PhD, masters, and lower level classes of work with energy, and they give you a diploma. There are people who actually are interested on how you do this. So there's a lot of interest, first of all. Second of all, everything that they do, be it through necromancy or through any other of the dark arts practices, all of them at the core are seeking to do illegal stuff which is illegal in 3D, to do that type of harm to an individual. Second or third, um, uh, I would like to break the news to them in case they don't know. All official authorities work in astral, they do investigation in astral. The divine truth can be seen, even if not all of it can be proven with evidence in 3D. But no worries, I will find a way around this, and I will create the circumstances and the situation in such a way so everything can be proven. But it's very clear that everything they do in these practices, in these convents, it's illegal. It's organized crime. Everything they do. At the core, at the intention level, everything is illegal already, is being punished in 3D with prison if you are doing this in 3D. They believe they are doing well only because they believe the astral world cannot be proven. If you don't have evidence, you cannot prove. No, motherfucker, I will prove it. And the world evolved meanwhile. And there's a lot more elevation that is coming up next. And a lot more of veils will be lifted, and a lot more people will see. And this legislation I will make. It's just I'm trying to relocate first because I want to work in this legislation to do a lot of public awareness. And I'm relocating in United States, in California, in Los Angeles, and um, I intend to do there both my PhD on these topics, and my PhD will serve as a documentation for the legislation, because I want to make it very broad and encompassing. I don't want to make it brief. I want to make sure that everything that I learned in my spiritual fighting will be included in that legislation,